What is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. Alright, so this is the situation we have right here. We now have Tropical Depression 6E out in the eastern Atlantic. Let's go ahead and take a look at it real quickly. This is the latest we have according to the cone. It is expected to strengthen into a hurricane by the end of the weekend. So we're going to have to pay attention to it as time goes on. The good news is that this thing is going to stay out to sea. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the public advisory right here. So, at 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time, the center of Tropical Depression 6E was located near latitude 12 north, longitude 100.8 west. It is moving west-northwest at 8 miles per hour. The maximum sustained winds are at 35 miles per hour with higher gusts, and the pressure is 1,007 millibars. So this is an interest we're going to have to pay attention to, the depression at least now that we're going to have to pay attention to, because we're expecting this to get to hurricane strength. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting situation. Let's go ahead and take a look at the intensity models. There we are right here. The intensity models, vast majority of them have this as a hurricane at some point in its life cycle, some of which as early as 48 hours out. So something to pay attention to. We have one model going up to Category 2 strength, which is pretty interesting. We're going to have to pay attention to that nevertheless, but for me, it's just too early to say what its peak strength is going to be. Let's go ahead and take a look at the global sea temperatures, because they are piping hot in this region of the world right here. We're looking at 28, 29 degrees Celsius, which for our viewers in the United States is 83, 84, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. More than enough water for development right here. More than enough water for rapid intensification in some instances too, excuse me, like we saw with Hurricane Darby. So that's the situation we're looking at right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the models. The HMON, HWRF, and GFS to be exact. The HMON is an interesting run. It's expected to strengthen to a tropical storm in the next few hours, and then a potential hurricane by Saturday right here, and then it's expected to strengthen. It bottoms out around 980 millibars. Basically a max wind. This looks like it's going to be a high-end Category 1 hurricane right here at the end of the day. And then, actually, no, it maxes out around 975, actually. And according to the HMON, it looks like it's going to be a Category 2 hurricane right here, potentially, maybe with winds of 105 miles per hour, according to the HMON. This is 1 mile run. The pressure ends up bottoming out actually at 971 millibars as a Category 2 hurricane. This is just one model. We're going to have to pay attention to this. This thing starts stagnating and weakening after that. But let's go ahead and take a look at the GFS, see what they have to say. The GFS is interesting. It has it closer to Mexico, and it has this thing intensifying. This eventually bottoms out around 968 millibars right here as a Category 2 hurricane. So this is another interesting situation right here. This thing, according to both these models, it looks like it's going to rapidly intensify too, which you don't ever want to see that, especially from a system. I know it's going to stay out to sea, but you don't ever really want to see anything rapidly intensify. It starts weakening as it moves into cooler waters, and eventually it'll dissipate long before the 10-day mark at this point. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the HWRF model, because this is usually the most aggressive model. Let's see how aggressive it is this run. The HWRF is pretty interesting. It has this thing strengthening to a tropical storm and then a hurricane by tomorrow, and then intensifying. It ends up bottoming out so far around 974, actually no, 972 millibars right here as potentially a Category 2 hurricane. So the HMON, HWRF, and GFS are expecting around Cat 2 strength. You can tell by the max wind field that's around like 113 knots at 850 millibars, which is flight level for the hurricane hunters. So yeah, this is an interesting situation we have right here, and the pressure is enough to stay for this to be a Category 2 as well. So this is a situation we're going to have to pay very close attention to, because we've had 5 named systems in the Pacific, and 4 of which have become hurricanes. And I keep saying this like a broken record, we have an 80% storm named to hurricane ratio. So yes, this is a situation we're going to have to pay attention to. I'm keeping an eye out on the Atlantic. There isn't really anything to report right now, so I will keep you guys updated as time goes on. But with that being said, we're going to wrap up this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out and helps me make more videos like these. The goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather. But with that being said, guys, Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.